are you? Well, it is another time and I'm at my campground and I'm taking a short walk because I've been in the trailer most of today, and I'm back at the campground from a couple weeks ago or a week ago anyway. But today is Manifesting Napoleon Hill Tuesday. Now, I am re-recording this because earlier today I recorded it and I was using a different headset and it was causing crackling and all kinds of stuff, and so therefore it wasn't a very good audio. I could hear me, but you wouldn't have heard me. Yes, we still have the cicadas around, and they're not quite as noisy as before, but this whole video is not going to be me outside. We're going to go inside and talk some. So today I'm going to talk about Edwin C. Barnes. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the book Think and Grow Rich, in chapter 1, he talks about Edwin C. Barnes and the fact that he actually, became a business partner with Napoleon Hill. And after my revelation about Hill in the introductory video, I decided to research Barnes. So he existed. He did what Napoleon Hill told in the story. So we know that. But what I want to preface this whole thing with is I decided to go back and read the introduction to the book. And those of you who have the book, I want you to go read the introduction because there's a lot of information in there that Napoleon Hill said. As I was reading it, I said, oh, this is really well written. It's succinct. You know, I'm thinking about his wife, Rosa, doing the editing. But one of the things that we had I assumed, a lot of people assumed, is that Napoleon Hill did the interview with a lot of people. However, when he did that, yep, we got a guy in this golf cart going by. Anyway, when he did that, where was I? Let me regroup here with that conversation that kind of distracted me. Anyhow, what he wrote in the introduction and what we had assumed, I had assumed, many people had assumed, was clarified. So we assumed that he interviewed all these thought leaders and businessmen and all of that. Well, in his introduction, he said he studied, analyzed what they did. So he didn't necessarily interview them. He paid attention to what they did and what was public. Now, he might have gotten some information from them or gotten to some of, their, what do I want to say, compatriots, and got information about each one of these people. So therefore, I'm going to say he researched the people. He may not have interviewed them. That is a mistake that I made and many other people have made about Napoleon Hill writing this book. And in that introduction, he talks about the secret that's in each and every chapter of the book. And that when you discover this secret, you can use it to get anything you want, to realize your dreams, to have better relationships or get rich or have a good company, whatever it is, you can do that. So take the time, if you have the book, if you haven't gotten the book yet, I want you to go, go to the library, go sit at Half Price Books or Barnes and Noble and just read the introduction. It is very enlightening. And that's all I'm going to say now, right? So, Edwin C. Barnes, and we get back to the camper in a little bit. I need to walk quite a bit right now because I've been sitting for too long. Get back to the camper, and then we're going to talk about Edwin C. Barnes and why he is so important to the introduction, chapter 1, perfect person to choose in that book, because this man was amazing. All right, guys, this is Beverly Fells Jones, Silver Fox of Consciousness, and let's get to the other side and talk about Edwin C. Barnes. I'm sorry, but yes, I decided that I'm going to change the direction of this conversation. So Edwin C. Barnes will be discussed in the next Napoleon Hill Tuesday. You go, Beverly, you're not allowed to do that with these videos. You've got us all done. But I started talking about the preface of the book and how well it was written and the information that was in it. And it gave me some more insight into Napoleon Hill. But let me tell you, the more I read the author's preface, the more I go, either Napoleon Hill was good at that talk, or his wife Rosa was a fantastic editor. But let me tell you, if you are a person who is selling something, or you're a person who is speaking and you're offering a product, whatever it is, I'm going to recommend you study the author's preface here in Think and Grow Rich. This thing is awesome. I will be studying the sentencing, the wording, and how he does this. Let's just think of this. He starts it out with, in every chapter of this book, mention has been made of the money-making secret which has made fortunes for more than 500 exceedingly wealthy men, whom I have carefully analyzed over a long period of years. Now listen, he didn't say he interviewed them. He said he analyzed them. Like I said, while taking that walk, he analyzed them. All right, and he goes on to talk a little bit about, Andrew Carnegie giving him this 25-year process of learning all this. Now, he says, I'm going to skip those couple paragraphs, but he says this book contains the secret after having been put to a practical test by thousands of people in almost every walk of life. Now, now he's telling you thousands of people. Now, must be honest on this and tell you that this book, Think and Grow Rich, was based upon his previous book on the 17 success principles, the 17 laws of success. He had a correspondence course, which I've got a copy of that too. And I mean, Think and Grow Rich is small compared to that thing. Anyway, he talks about the fact that it contains this secret. And so he had sold these products. He's written lots of books, more than I realized. And he was out there hawking this stuff forever, but he was always in some kind of scheme, which I don't understand, which I said before. So I don't know about thousands of people. All right, that salesman talk, which could have been 500, it could have been 1001, or it could have been 2000, or it could have been 200. Who knows? Anyway, he talks about this formula that has been proven to be used, and they've changed their life. Now, he said it was his hope that this is Carnegie, it was Carnegie's hope that I might test and demonstrate the soundness of the formula through the experience of men and women in every calling. Now understand, way back then, and this is 1937, but supposedly he started this in 1920s, that before this time, school just allowed people, ordinary folks, to read and write. They didn't teach them anything about business. And even today, I don't care if you go to business school, it tells you formulas and it tells you, the legalities and how to keep the books and, how to do an advertising campaign. But it really doesn't teach you business. And back then, and even today, wealthy people, a lot of them, their children learned about business at the dinner table, or they taught them and brought them into the office. The self-made people, they figured out how people made money, or they came up with something that was good. So, yes, Think and Grow Rich is really good. And he gives you some really good facts, and he gives you the formula. And people have taken this book, they have applied the formulas, they have applied what is said in here, and they've become rich. And some of them have just taken this information and trained other people on it, right? So I'm going through this and reading this preface, and I'm telling you, this man in this section was good. He goes on, I've skipped a few. The secret to which I referred has been mentioned no fewer than 100 times throughout this book. It has not been directly named, for it seems to work more successfully when it is merely uncovered and left in sight. Where those who are ready and searching for it may pick it up. That reminded me of the statement, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Yeah, well, that's what this is telling me. So if you're ready, he says, to put it to use, you will recognize this secret at least once in every chapter. He's got you actively looking in the chapters to find out if you see this glaring secret. It's not glaring. It's there for you to access. And no, I'm not telling you right here, right now, what that secret is. Join my mastermind and we'll talk more about it now. So you'll recognize it at least once. I wish I might feel privileged to tell you how you'll know if you're ready, but that would deprive you of much of the benefit you will receive when you make the discovery in your own way. I was reading a gentleman's, what I wanted to say, marketing material, because he was going to teach you some stuff about Napoleon Hill, and he had read the Think and Grow Rich, and he said, I found the secret. I didn't find the secret till I had read the book for the fourth or fifth time, but I'm going to help you get through this and help you cut through all of that, and we'll help you find that secret if you just come and spend $15,000 with me. I'm not $15,000, but what he was doing is the same thing here. Now, think about how you feel when you go, it's a secret. Oh, and I got to find it, but it's there. It's like hide and go seek. Hide and go seek, you know? So, what's the one? Marco Polo, whichever it is, but it's like a hide and go seek thing. But you got to go through each one of these chapters in the book and see if you see that secret in each chapter. You know, I love it. Like I said, I'm going to study the preference. So when I'm doing my marketing materials, I'm going to stylize my information. Now, listen to this. When you read it, perhaps you will dismiss any feeling you may have had at the beginning of the book. that it promised too much. So he's telling you, okay, so right now you're thinking I'm telling you a lot of nonsense, and you think what I'm gonna do in this book isn't gonna help you, but I'm gonna tell you as you read this, you're gonna find out. And he goes on to say, and two, if you have ever been discouraged, if you have had difficulties to surmount which took the very soul out of you, if you've tried and failed, if you were ever handicapped by illness or physical affliction. The story of my son's discovery and use of the Carnegie formula may be the oasis in the desert of lost hope for which you have been searching. I love that paragraph. Okay, as when you read it, and let's see how many times he says if you ever discourage, if two, difficulties, three, tried and failed, four, handicapped or afflicted. So he did it four times. Yeah, normally it's three, but he did it four times. He needed emphasis. All right. He talks about the secret used by Woodrow Wilson, right? And then by Manuel Quezon, who became the governor of the Philippines. I mean, he gained the freedom for the Philippines and became its first governor. He just goes on about this secret and how it's been passed on by this associate and that associate. And I'm telling you, it's just, I'm just looking at this and I'm going, all right, I'm ready. Are you ready? He gives a list of all these famous people who have done this, including Alexander Graham Bell, Honorable Jennings Randolph, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, F.W. Woolworth. For those of you who don't know who Woolworth, he was he started the five and dime thing. It was Woolworth's five and 10 cent store. Became rich. He was the forerunner to Walmart. Okay, and that, let's see, Rockefeller, right? Gillette, Wrigley's, the chewing gum fame. All of these people use this formula. Okay, and he says the names represent but a small fraction of the hundreds. I'm going to tell you, as much as I was disappointed by the life of Mr. Hill, there is a lot to be learned just by reading the preface about how to write, how to get your audience stimulated to listen to what you have to say. So he goes on near the end. Remember, too, as you go through the book, that it deals with facts and not with fiction. Its purpose, yeah, we'll handle that later. Its purpose being to convey a great universal truth through which all who are ready, there you go again, may learn. Not only, and I love this, listen up, not only what to do, but also how to do it, and receive as well the needed stimulus to make a start. And then he says it's a final word of preparation. Before you begin the first chapter, he's going to offer you a suggestion, okay, which may provide a clue by which Carnegie's secret may be recognized. Okay, here it is. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. He says if you're ready for this secret, you already possess one half of it. Therefore, you will readily recognize the other half the moment it reaches your mind. So I'm going to ask you, what is that? If you think you know what the secret is, at least one half of it, and it is, the half part of that half of it is in those two statements that I have up on the screen too. Right? All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. Okay? So, what is it? don't get too mad at me because I didn't do Edwin C. Barnes. All right, because I'm going to talk about him next week because I love this guy. And there's lots of documentation out there about him. Again, this is Beverly Fells Jones. Please hit the thumbs up if you like this video and you're not too upset with me for not continuing with Edwin C. Barnes. And to know when I upload Edwin C. Barnes, please hit that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified. I appreciate you listening and tuning in today. And so I'm going to say thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.